Are you ready to be amazed by Nostradamus's predictions for 2024? Well, the 16th century French seer is about to blow your mind again. Nostradamus, known for his eerily accurate prophecies, foresaw the troubles of 2020, and now he warns of even greater challenges ahead. But what did he predict? Are these prophecies truly accurate, or have they been misunderstood over time? Let's dive into this video to explore Nostradamus's treasure trove of insights into the future, covering everything from natural disasters to political upheavals and technological advancements. Without further ado, let's explore the top predictions by Nostradamus for the coming decade and its impact. The sleeping pandemic. In one of his verses, Nostradamus describes a large problem looming over the world like a dark cloud. He compares it to a sleeping pandemic that could cause trouble. Nostradamus foresaw a hidden danger, like a quiet threat that has yet to cause any problems. Here's the thing. This verse has different meanings for different people. Some think Nostradamus was talking about the coronavirus in 2020, the one that affected the whole world and made everything stop for a while. But not everyone agrees. Some people think he meant a different kind of sickness called encephalitis lethargica. It's a disease that makes people unable to talk or do anything, like being in a deep sleep. So there are different ideas about what Nostradamus was trying to say. Some believe it's about the 2020 pandemic, and others think it's about sleeping sickness. It's like reading a book with different translations. Everyone sees it in their way. In the past, doctors Constantine von Econo and Jean-René Crochet talked about a sickness called encephalitis lethargica. They said it's like a problem where people can't talk and become less active because something's wrong with their brains. Imagine not being able to do anything at all. It's pretty scary. This sleeping sickness spread all over the world between 1915 and 1926. Even though we're not sure how many people got sick, it's believed that over 1 million were affected, and 1/4 of them died without knowing why. So it's a serious thing. If it happened again now, lots of people could die before we even understand what's going on. We've already had enough pandemics to deal with. Right now, we're still trying to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Another one would be too much, and we might never get over it. A new king to replace Queen Elizabeth. Let's talk about another Nostradamus's prediction regarding the British monarchy, specifically Buckingham Palace in England. It's said that he predicted Queen Elizabeth's death before it happened, and he didn't stop there. He also talked about who would come after her. In one verse, he said that a king of the Isles would be forcefully driven out and replaced by someone who doesn't seem fit to be a king. According to this prediction, the current king is King Charles III, the next in line after Queen Elizabeth. However, some people think that Prince Harry might rise to overthrow King Charles III, considering the monarchy's uncertain future. Now, this idea might sound a bit unrealistic. Prince Harry is quite far down in the line of succession. According to the rules and traditions, he will not likely become king anytime soon, maybe not even in the next decade. Also, there's the fact that Prince Harry and Meghan stepped away from their royal duties, and they might lose their titles, becoming just a duke and duchess. In the end, Nostradamus's prophecy adds to the mystery of his visions. It's one of those predictions that seem hard to believe. It makes us wonder about the complexity and strange reasoning of the mind of a man we see as a seer, woven into the fabric of time. The Third World War. Now comes something serious, Nostradamus's prediction of a Third World War. If we look at his prophetic verses, one prediction that stands out is about a big war that could happen in the future. He wrote about 7 months into the Great War, people dead of evil doing, ruin EV shall not fall to the king. Some people believe this might point to a conflict involving Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, and they think it could involve countries like Ukraine. Now imagine powerful countries like North Korea, China, the United States, and others taking sides in this conflict. It sounds scary, right? If this prediction comes true, it could be worse than the First and Second World Wars. A Third World War could mean destruction and chaos. It might even threaten life on Earth as we know it. Why is it so serious? Well, let's think about how much our weapons and war machines have advanced. We now have things like ballistic missiles with artificial intelligence, super-fast jets, and the scariest of all, nuclear warheads. These nuclear weapons have unimaginable destructive power. Countries like North Korea and Russia, with their powerful weapons, could turn Earth into a battlefield in just a week or two. This could lead to millions of people, animals, and plants being destroyed. It's a frightening thought. While we appreciate Nostradamus's wisdom, we truly hope this prophecy never comes true. It's a reminder of how important it is for countries to find peaceful solutions and avoid the devastating consequences of war. China will rule the world. Next, let's talk about China and its role in the world. With a population of more than 1.4 billion, China is becoming a very powerful country. This is not just a guess. It's happening in real life. Nostradamus, a person who could supposedly predict the future, talked about China rising, and it seems like he was right. But here's the thing. China didn't just become powerful by chance. It worked hard for many years to develop its economy and become a global player. It's not just fate, it's a result of careful planning. China invested a lot in strategies and technology and committed itself to getting better. Well, when Nostradamus talked about China rising, he didn't just mean it would become strong. He meant it would become the most powerful and rule the whole world. It's not magic. It's about China working hard and becoming the boss on the world stage. You might be wondering about other big countries like the US and Russia. Let's just say it won't be easy for China to become the top dog with these countries around. But here's the thing. China isn't just focusing on growing its economy. It's also paying a lot of attention to its military strength. When it comes to the military, China has a lot of people and some of the most advanced weapons. So if there was a fight, they'd have a good chance. But big fights between powerful countries aren't good for anyone. They can cause a lot of problems for the whole world. So if China wants to become the leader of the world peacefully, it would be best for everyone. It's like saying, let's make peace instead of fighting. Don't you agree? The radiation. Another prediction by Nostradamus talks about a disaster waiting to happen. It's like he saw the earth getting burned by something like radiation. In his verse, he talked about the sun scorching the land and boiling the sea. Some people think this could be about global warming, where human activity makes Earth hot. We've been hearing about global warming for a long time now. It's talked about on TV, in the news, and all over. The idea is to warn people about the bad things that happen when we release too much carbon into the air. This creates a greenhouse effect, where the Earth gets warmer. Because of this, more people are trying to use cleaner fuels, but it's still not enough. So even though some people are trying to be greener, we still need more options to make a difference and stop this prediction from coming true. The looming threat of global warming has dire and far-reaching consequences that we must be prepared to face. As temperatures rise, the effects will be felt across the globe. The melting of polar ice caps is just the beginning. We can expect more intense and frequent weather events. This could lead to rising sea levels, resulting in devastating floods and wildfires that could obliterate entire ecosystems, wiping out wildlife and destroying crops and farms. The ripple effects could extend to years of famine and drought, plunging communities into chaos. We're staring at a potential global catastrophe that could unleash months or even years of upheaval. It's a wake-up call for every one of us to take action and restore the delicate balance of our planet's atmosphere to what it once was centuries ago. So what can we do? One crucial step is to reduce our carbon footprint. Instead of relying on fossil fuels, we should explore greener sources of energy. By making conscious choices and adopting sustainable practices, we can mitigate the impact of global warming. We hope to temper its severity with concerted efforts, steering away from the bleak future that Nostradamus and climate scientists have warned us about. Human longevity. Human life expectancy has been getting shorter over time. In the past, people used to live longer, sometimes up to 90 or 100 years. They had a good life before they died, as they should. But nowadays, it's different. People are dying younger, maybe around 70 or 80 years old, which is sad to think about. There are many reasons why this is happening. Things like hardship, famine, and crises can make life harder and shorter. Also, events like world wars and other conflicts have taken their toll, and diseases like HIV and AIDS have also made things worse. But one thing that some researchers don't talk about enough is how our eating habits have changed over time. This could be another reason why people aren't living as long as they used to. So there are a lot of factors at play. Over time, our food habits have changed a lot. We used to eat fresh, local food, but now we rely more on processed and canned foods. These processed foods often have preservatives, additives, and artificial stuff in them, which might not be good for our health. But because of better hygiene, healthcare, and technology, we've been able to live longer than before. Nostradamus, a famous predictor, once said that humans might live to be 150 or even 160 years old in the future. He thought this could happen because of better medicine, lifestyle changes, or maybe even a spiritual transformation. Some people are already trying to find a way to make people live forever. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos are funding research to create a kind of potion that could rejuvenate cells and make us live longer. So Nostradamus' idea about humans living longer might come true. Scientists are working on it, and it's not as far-fetched as it might seem. Contact with extraterrestrial lives. Understanding Nostradamus can be tricky, especially considering he lived in a time when science was just starting. How did he even come up with the idea of aliens? Well, if we knew that, he wouldn't be so mysterious. But looking at Nostradamus's predictions in the context of his time shows us how deep his thinking was about the unknown. However, it's important to note that Nostradamus didn't directly talk about aliens in his writings. His words are often hard to understand and open to interpretation. Only recently have some people interpreted one of his verses as possibly mentioning an alien invasion. But just because some people think that doesn't make it true. Let's take a closer look at some cosmic events, like the case of Oumuamua and various conspiracy theories about aliens. There's more going on than meets the eye. Scientists couldn't figure out what Oumuamua was, leaving room for debate about whether it was an alien spaceship. But Nostradamus, also known as Aos Salom, had something to say. He believed that in 2024, humans would be able to contact aliens, though he didn't think there would be an alien invasion. Instead, he thought we'd communicate with them using secret messages received by telescopes. And that's not all. Nostradamus also predicted that an asteroid full of rare materials would land on Earth the following year, like a gift from our space neighbors. Now, if you're a skeptic, you might think this all sounds like nonsense from one person. But who knows? The future might surprise us. Trump becomes president again. As the United States elections draw near, there's a buzz about Nostradamus' predictions regarding a prominent figure in modern politics reclaiming the presidency. Though Nostradamus doesn't explicitly mention Donald Trump, many believe he fits the described profile. The anticipation suggests Trump's return to the presidential seat and a resurgence of his political influence, hearkening back to what some perceive as a golden era. However, this prophecy contains a cautionary note. While it's intriguing to speculate about the future based on ancient prophecies, it's essential to approach such interpretations with a critical eye. Nostradamus' warnings about a president's downfall are quite ominous. He spoke of how the president's arrogance and the cloud of corruption around him would lead to his undoing. As power consumes him, he may become deaf to advice and plunge the United States into darker times. It's tempting to view this prediction as a cautionary tale against the erosion of democratic values. Could it also be seen as a cryptic message to Trump himself? A forewarning of what lies ahead? It's hard to say for sure. Trump's presidency had its highs and lows. He made significant changes to some laws, but also made mistakes that tarnished his legacy. But let's not rush to conclusions about Nostradamus' prophecy. In a previous prediction, he suggested that Barack Obama would be America's last president, a notion that proved incorrect. Perhaps he meant Obama would be the last black president, or maybe there's another interpretation. Now, with the prediction of Trump's resurgence, we wonder about its accuracy. Only time will tell if Nostradamus' deciphers were on the mark. In a few months, we'll see if they were. Until then, we must approach these prophecies with caution and skepticism. recognizing that the future is uncertain and subject to interpretation. Artificial intelligence takes over the world. Have you watched Tom Cruise's recent Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning movie? If not, you might want to check it out. It seems to give a broad overview of what this Nostradamus prediction is about. Now, imagine a world like ours, but completely digital, much easier, and assisted by artificial intelligence. Sounds fascinating, right? But what if there's a sinister twist? What if the machines we created, the ones we've honed and developed for our convenience, develop a mind of their own? A mind dark enough to want to take over the world. It's like a scene from a horror sci-fi movie, and that's what this prophecy is all about. Think about it. The advent of AI. Artificial intelligence has evolved so much in a short period. Initially, when AI was introduced, no one could predict the tasks it can handle now. Nowadays, AI solves complex problems, does chores, ensures security, and more. AI has access to a lot of vital information about us. With all the computations and interactions, AI has become aware of how we think, react, and go about our daily lives. Due to these facts, it wouldn't be difficult if artificial intelligence decided to take over. Our very own creation has become quite confident. Nostradamus's AI human ingenuity model predicts a unique kind of revolution. This revolution is said to symbolize the merging of human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. What does that mean? It means AI would be taking over, pretending to be humans. They might also take over some of our jobs, roles, and places in society. It's like creating a problem that might make our lives less busy in the years to come. A new pope. You might wonder why the Catholic Church often gets involved in controversial ideas and worldwide discussions. The answer is that the Church doesn't just deal with spiritual matters. It also has a say in politics, society, and ethics. Sometimes people even ask for its opinion when making laws. The Pope isn't just a religious leader. They also speak out on things like taking care of the environment and protecting human rights. So it's no wonder that the Church pops up in Nostradamus's predictions. Surprisingly, Nostradamus considered himself a devoted Catholic, but the Church didn't see him the same way. They thought he was doing things that went against their beliefs. Because of this and other reasons, the Vatican didn't like his book of prophecies. They even condemned it right after he died. In one of his prophecies, Nostradamus talked about the Church. He said that when a very old pope dies, a Roman guy of a good age will be chosen to replace him. People will say this new pope's eyesight is failing, but he'll rule for a long time and do a lot of stuff. This prophecy seems to match Pope Francis, who's one of the oldest popes in history. He's turning 88 this year, and he's been having health problems lately. So it might not be long before this prophecy comes true. God bless the Pope. But there's a warning in this prophecy, too. It says the new Pope after Francis will be young and strong. Some worry that this new Pope might lessen the Church's power and respect worldwide. They think the Catholic Church might lose its important place among global leaders. Some even talk about a Pope who's black causing trouble in the Church. What do you think? Do you see big changes coming for the Church after Pope Francis? Let's hope the Church sorts out any issues peacefully after Pope Francis. So, what do you think of the predictions for 2024 by Nostradamus? Comment below your views and subscribe for more.